now I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker, co-chair of the Congressional Veterinary Caucus, Congressman Schrader. Congressman Schrader is currently serving his third term in the House of Representatives, where he represents Oregon's 5th Congressional District. Before being elected to Congress, Mr. Schrader established and managed the Clackamas County Veterinary Clinic in Oregon City and operated his farm. He's been a farmer and veterinarian for over 30 years. Congressman Schrader currently serves as a member of the House Committee on Agriculture, Budget, and Small Business. He is the ranking member of the Agriculture Subcommittee on Horticulture, Research, Biotechnology, and Foreign Agriculture. Congressman Schrader has long been a friend and ally in the advancement for human health, and we are very pleased and honored to have him here with us today. So without more, Congressman Schrader.
Well, welcome to the Capitol, everybody. Appreciate the opportunity to lead off the event here this morning. Pretty important subject, and perhaps the reason that you've seen this huge veterinary caucus form. It's hopefully a growing opportunity. Ted and I are pleased to be co-chairs of the caucus, and we'd encourage all of you to participate. Hopefully we plan to be a forum for some of the discussion that you're going to be having here today. Hopefully an intelligent discussion about human health and animal health interactions. As you well know, there's a lot of mythology out there. There's a lot of misinformation, which is commonplace. And I think this is an opportunity with the group you have here to break through some of that. We've seen it in dealing with antimicrobials. They're used in cattle and livestock. There's a fair amount of demagoguery that goes along with that. A lot of people don't understand that a healthy steer is a good steer. A fat steer is a happy steer, and that's fine. And there's a lot of anecdotal studies that are out there that, if you read them very closely, feed off of one another with not a lot of really good science, I don't think, behind some of them. So it's really important for us, I feel, to make the case that the veterinarians are important, I think, to the discussion. With the community here in Washington, D.C., we're fortunate. We have some very, very good friends. We get along well, the human doctors, and Ted and I, we actually break bread together, enjoy them. They seem to have a bit of respect for us as members of the medical profession. So at least from a legislative standpoint, I think there's some opportunity here. I think there's some real opportunity. The issues that we see, the ADUFA is a big deal. And I think this is an opportunity for us again to tell our story. We're talking with Don on the compounding issues. It's really important for us to get out ahead of some of this stuff and make sure that human health is protected and that the veterinarian's part of that discussion as we go forward. West Nile virus is a big deal. It's starting to become a bit more of a problem with human health. I think, again, the veterinarian is the person that has a much better handle, with all due respect to my medical colleagues, on most of the zoonotic diseases out there, whether it's parasites, viral, bacterial, fungal diseases. A lot of these things, I think the veterinarian is probably your expert and would be pleased to work. It's one of the things we're trying very hard to do now is build an interest among the younger veterinarians coming out of the veterinary schools in public health, in food animal health, to make sure that our food chain is safe. If there's any big threat to this country from a terrorist standpoint, I think it's in our food chain. And so it's very, very important that I think veterinarians play heavily, even in the Homeland Security area. There's a spot for us. So I feel that, frankly, going forward with the veterinary community, there's an opportunity for us to work closely with our industry allies and our medical community and see if we can get some rational discussion out there. I think the classic example of how irrational it can be here in Washington, D.C. is DEA's decision on controlled substances. The idea that your local veterinarian who's doing ambulatory practice with livestock and equine veterinary medicine can't carry controlled substances around in their rig is just absurd. And it's an indication of how bureaucratic and we can get around here. The regulatory nature of Washington, D.C. takes over, takes a new life, and they don't understand how, I think, to me as a practicing ambulatory veterinarian for 35 years, it's a classic example of how Washington, D.C. and most of the regulatory framework here doesn't fit what we do in the real world in veterinary medicine and out in the field. I think there's a lot of well-meaning people here trying to write rules and regulations. I have seen from my vantage point in the United States Congress where in some cases, however, they don't really reflect even the intent of the law as we pass it. So your help pushing back on some of these things, trying to get ahead of the game a little bit, can make a difference. We've done that with, when we bring up the sore subject, the recent almost farm bill, but we were able to do some good things in terms of pushing DEA a little bit on the controlled substances. We were able to do some good things on wildlife management, pest management that empowers private enterprise and allows us to use our taxpayer resources where it's really needed in rural areas. So there is an opportunity, I think, for veterinarians to make a huge difference in the public health arena. And I think that this panel and your participation as a group is going to be very, very important going forward. And again, I would urge you all to please work with us in Veterinary Caucus. We can be a forum for you to get the word out on some of the issues that are coming up in the day, and frankly make in this town hopefully a bipartisan network that will actually work and hopefully get our message out in a real positive way. And with that, I'll go to questions. That's probably the best thing to do. Yeah, Don.
Congressman, since you brought up the farm bill, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are as far as where it might be going.
Well, that's a very good question. Very good question. I hate to think we have to start all over. It's 2 years worth of work. 4 if you're Colin Peterson and Frank Lucas. I mean, they've been putting their heart and soul into this. The funny part is, it points, in my opinion, points out the bipolar nature of your United States Congress. I've been telling most people this year that this Congress, we'd actually been getting along better than we had in a long time. We avoided the fiscal cliff. We kept the government running with a CR. It may not be ideal, but at least we didn't shut it down. We've dealt with women's violence issues and all this stuff. We actually, by hook or by crook, we've been getting along, and then have that bill fail on the floor was pretty tough pill to swallow at the end of the day. Especially, again, that was a bipartisan bill up until probably the last 4 amendments that came to the floor. And I appreciate the process that everyone's working their will, but there's such a thing as leadership. I think on both sides. If I was to be dead honest with you, well, I think my Republican colleagues, their leadership didn't work the bill appropriately, and didn't really count votes and understand the depth of the passion on my side of the aisle with regard to the nutrition programs. And on my side, we didn't whip the bill very hard either, to be very honest. And we should have done a lot more. I love my ranking member, but we could have been a little more on the muscle in terms of how we approached the vote count, and been maybe a little clearer in sending the right signals to the other team. Hopefully, get resurrected at the end of the day. Frankly, you can make the snap cuts worse, and I think my Republican colleagues can pass the bill pretty easily. The main goal, in my opinion, hopefully all your guys' opinion, is get the darn thing to conference. That's really the bottom line. That's where the deal will be cut to make it work. And again, you guys will have an opportunity, hopefully, to play thoughtfully in that, keep the programs that you like, and maybe tweak some others that need a little bit of assistance at the end of the day. So I hope the leaderships on the respective side. I've moved up the food chain a little bit and was ranking member of the board, worked closely with Austin Scott, enjoy him a bunch, and I know we were both pretty upset that the bill went down. We'll be talking to our chairman and ranking members, trying to see if there's a path to getting this thing done at the end of the day.